What if that funny bubble in your coolant tank meant hundreds of dollars in repairs? And sometimes the whole engine. I've seen it happen. A tiny leak turns into a big bill fast. As one trusted guide puts it, every Subaru owner needs to know you'll pay between $200 and $2,500 for a head gasket job. I'm Morgan Lane, your safety-first car guy, and you're watching Recall Roadmap with Morgan. I've spent years in shops and recall work, and for this video I dug through Subaru service bulletins and owner forums to pull the real answers together. Here's the truth. Many Subaru engines from the late 90s and early 2000s can seep coolant at the head gasket. Folks ignore a little bubble or a faint sweet smell, then one heat cycle too many warps the head. Fixing a non-running engine can even exceed the car's value. That's why we're doing this now, to save you time, money, and stress. Tap like if you own a Subaru and tell me in the comments if you've ever noticed foamy coolant or mystery overheat. I read every story. Today we'll map which engines are risky, the symptoms to watch, what Subaru did, repair costs, and how to keep yours healthy. Next up, which Subarus are actually at risk, and whether yours is on that list. Let's cut to the list that matters. This problem centers on the 2.5L Flat 4, known as EJ25, in the late 90s and early 2000s. The 2.5L SOHC phase, I used in 1996, 1999 Legacy and Outback, sometimes suffered head gasket failure. Then the 1999-2003 2FL SOHC used in Forester, Impreza, Legacy, and Outback was known for an external head gasket dripping leak. Subaru formalized it in 2004 with campaign WWP99, naming 2000 Boss 2002 Legacy.Outback 2.5L plus 1999 2002 Impreza and 1999 2002 Forester as effective for coolant leaks. Failures were most frequent in 1996, 1999 2.5L models. Now, some good news so newer owners can breathe. Data shows that 2015 and newer Subarus with updated FBFA boxer engines and improved gaskets have very few head gasket issues. In fact, most owners have not experienced head gasket failures thanks to better materials and design. If you're in those older years, this matters. Those small leaks can turn into overheating and engine wear. If you're newer, stay calm and keep up maintenance. Does your year fall in those ranges? Drop your model and mileage below. Coming up, if your car is in the risk window, here are the early symptoms you can spot before it gets ugly. Here's how trouble first talks to you. A classic sign is bubbles or boiling in the overflow bottle. Owners describe it like a simmer that never stops. As one guide explains, sometimes people say the coolant in the overflow tank is boiling. It is exhaust gases blowing bubbles into the coolant. That gas sneaks in through the failing seal. Another early hint is a jumpy temp gauge. It spikes toward hot, then drops. Those little blasts of exhaust can fool the sensor, then settle when coolant flows again. Check your fluids. A gray, oily film in the coolant tank is a red flag. On the oil side, milky or frothy oil on the dipstick is likely that coolant is mixing with your engine oil. You might also see persistent white steam from the tailpipe at startup. That's coolant burning inside the cylinder. And watch for coolant loss with no obvious puddle. If the radiator is low but the reservoir looks okay, that points to an internal leak. These signs matter because early action can save your engine. I've reviewed hundreds of owner photos showing that bubbly overflow, and the pattern is clear. Up next, let's pop the hood and see what's actually happening inside when you see those bubbles. Inside your engine, the head gasket is the border guard. It keeps combustion pressure, coolant, and oil in their own lanes. On the bad setups, the failure happens between an exhaust passage and a coolant passage. To quote the tech notes, the head gasket would rupture between the exhaust passage and a coolant passage. This failure allowed exhaust gases to enter the coolant. Picture blowing through a straw into a glass. Bubbles surge into the cooling system every time the cylinder fires. That hot gas creates hot spots. Aluminum cylinder heads don't like that. If the problem gets bad enough, it can result in warped engine heads. Then you need machining and sometimes replacement. Why did this start? In the mid-90s, the industry moved away from asbestos. The early non-asbestos composite gaskets on these Subarus didn't handle heat cycles well. Guides note, 1996 to 2004, gaskets failing around 100,000 miles. Repeated overheating speeds the failure. When I dug through Subaru documents and old repair logs, this story lined up over and over. The fix became clear years later. Stronger multi-layer steel gaskets and better materials. So when Subaru saw the pattern, did they recall everything or try a targeted approach? Let's walk through what they actually did. Subaru didn't ignore this. In 2004, Subaru of America issued campaign WWP99 and told dealers the truth. SOA has determined that over time, affected vehicles may develop small external coolant leaks at engine cylinder head gaskets. The official fix at the time was to add a genuine Subaru cooling system conditioner. The bulletin spelled it out. To prevent cylinder head gasket leaks, a special Subaru cooling system conditioner should be added. Dealers were instructed to add 1 bottle during service on the named models. Subaru also gave owners breathing room. SOA is extending coverage for cylinder head gasket external coolant leaks to 8 years or 100,000 miles. If you had already paid for a repair, they allowed reimbursement when you sent receipts. The catch was maintenance. The conditioner needed to be used properly during coolant service. There wasn't a nationwide recall just for head gaskets, but Subaru addressed related overheating items on some models, which helped reduce gasket stress. I pulled the original WWP99 language to verify all of this, so you can trust the details. Now, if you're out of warranty or the leak is internal, what does a real repair look like? And what will it cost? Here's what happens when it's time to fix it. On many 2.5L Subarus, space is tight. Shops often lift the engine or pull it to get clean access to the heads. That adds hours. Once the heads are off, they're checked for warp. If they pass, a machine shop resurfaces them. If they're cracked, you replace them. While you're in there, smart techs install multi-layer steel head gaskets, new head bolts, and related parts like the thermostat, water pump, and timing components. The big hit is labor. Industry ranges are clear. Replacing a Subaru head gasket costs between $1,400 and $2,500. Many quotes land between $200 and $2,500 total, with an Outback often around $1,800 and $2,200. Tough cases or dealer rates can push near $3,000 or even more. I confirm these numbers with veteran Subaru mechanics I trust. If this breakdown is helping you plan and save, hit subscribe to Recall Roadmap with Morgan for weekly, plain English safety deep dives. Share this with a Subaru friend who needs it. And tell me in the comments how you'd handle a 3K bill. Fix it, sell it, or swap. Because next, I'm going to show you how to avoid getting here in the first place. The best repair is the one you never need. Start with coolant care. Subaru's own program required using the genuine Subaru cooling system conditioner. Their wording is direct. Genuine Subaru cooling system conditioner must be added each time the engine coolant is replaced. Use Subaru-approved coolant, keep it fresh, and don't let the system run low. Check levels the right way. The reservoir can lie. As Subaru guidance says, the coolant level must be checked by removing the radiator cap with the engine cold. I've shown this on camera. The bottle looked fine, but the radiator was low. That's how small leaks hide. Pop off plastic engine covers once in a while and scan for a pinkish or whitish crust along the head-to-block seam. Be alert to soft signals. A quick temp spike, a sweet smell after a drive, heater core gurgles. Act fast. Do a cooling system pressure test or a simple block test to sniff for exhaust in the coolant. Forum vets are clear. Owners who kept coolant and oil service up tended to avoid failures or catch them early. I tested these checks in my own garage and in shops. They're simple, cheap, and they work. Up next, let's talk about newer Subarus and whether they still face this mess. Here's the hopeful part. Subaru updated materials and gasket design over time. By the 2010s, reliability improved a lot. The later EJ 2.5L engines had better results, and the newer FB.FA engines, especially from 2015 onward, show very few head gasket issues. One summary puts it plainly: most owners have not experienced head gasket failures. Newer designs seem more reliable. That lines up with what I see in shops and data. Multi-layer steel gaskets, revised cooling passages, and better head clamping helped. Reports from 2010-2014 2.5L models are dramatically better than the old days, and 2015 plus FB 2.5L and FA FB 2.0L cars are, for most owners, a non-issue when it comes to head gaskets. But better doesn't mean ignore it. Any signs of coolant oil mixing or unexplained overheating need a check. Good maintenance still wins. Fresh coolant, proper caps, and quick fixes for any cooling hiccup. If you're in a newer Subaru, take a breath. You're likely fine. If you're eyeing an older one because the price looks sweet, the next part is for you. I'll show you a simple used car screening plan that can save you thousands and a whole lot of stress. Buying used can be smart if you do the homework. First, ask for maintenance records. Look for coolant service history and any note that the Subaru cooling system conditioner was added during changes. Check if head gaskets were replaced and when. For the WWWP 999 years, owner letters went out between February and May 2004, so some cars had coverage and documented service. Do a proper test drive with the temp gauge in mind. After the drive, shut it down, then pop the hood. When the engine is cool, remove the radiator cap and check that the radiator itself is full. Scan the overflow and the radiator neck for oily film. Peek for crusty residue at the head-to-block seam. Ask the seller if they've ever topped off coolant often or noticed white exhaust in the morning. If you can, get a pre-purchase inspection. A shop can run a block test for combustion gases in the coolant and do a compression or leak down test. Those two tests catch most hidden gasket breaches. I even skim recent classifieds for clues. Recent head gasket, timing belt, and coolant service often means the big job is done. Do these steps, and you have leverage to negotiate or walk. Now, let's bring it all home. We covered a lot, so here's the bottom line. The older 2.5L EJ Subarus, especially 1996, 2004, and into the early 2000s, were known for head gasket leaks. Symptoms are bubbles in the overflow, temp spikes, milky fluid, and white steam. The cause is a failing seal that lets exhaust pressurize coolant, sometimes warping the head. Subaru responded with WWP99, a conditioner ad, and extended coverage to 8 years or 100,000 miles for certain 1999-2002 models. Repairs are labor-heavy and often cost $1,200 to $2,500, so early checks and good coolant care are your best defense. Modern Subarus, especially 2015 plus, are much better, but maintenance still matters. What will you do with this info? Will you check your radiator cap cold this week and keep a record of your coolant service? I hope so. If this helped, please like, share, and drop your story or questions in the comments. And if you want more smart, calm, data-driven car safety guidance, hit subscribe so you never miss a deep dive. Thanks for watching. I appreciate you spending time with me today. I dug through decades of sources, shop notes, and dealer bulletins so you can make a clear, safe plan for your Subaru. Drive safe, and I'll see you in the next one. And